Hello and welcome to another edition of Shaking Up Kenosha. My name is Jeff Roberts and I'll be your host for this series of programs. Today we have with us from Big Brothers and Big Sisters, at least I said it right this time, we have Ashley Hendricks and Mandy Johnson. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
When we think about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, that's an organization that's been around for a long, long period of time. Give us a little bit of the history of Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a national organization that's really the oldest one-to-one mentoring organization in the country, and they have affiliates throughout the United States, some very large, obviously in urban areas, and some very small. We're part of the small to medium-sized affiliate group, and we serve all of Racine and Kenosha counties. Our agency has been serving children since 1960, so we've been around for quite a while as well.
Okay. Now, Mandy, what do you mean by one-to-one mentor?
Well, we pair caring adults with children in need of a mentor. They go out and they do fun things together and they work on goals and all that good stuff. So,
now, you two can't do this by yourself. When we were talking before, when I first approached you about being on the show, you had mentioned that you have a staff. So what does the staff do?
Mandy and I are part of the staff. We have a staff of 3.5, so it's a small but mighty staff.
Okay.
But Mandy, for example, is our match supporting and enrollment coordinator. So she's the person who deals directly with all of the children who apply to be part of the program and all of the volunteer mentors. Mm-hmm. We also have a community partnership manager, and she deals a lot with community engagement, fund development, being out in the community and recruiting mentors. And then I'm the executive director, and we also have a part-time administrative assistant who's very helpful as well.
That was your half, the half piece?
That's my half, yes. Very important half.
Now, when we think about how large the organization is, you've got quite a few kids that you guys coach and mentor and that you're a part of their lives. How many total do you have?
Last year we served just under 200 children in Racine and Kenosha counties.
Now, it's both counties?
Both counties. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Tall order. Mm-hmm. Which one has more kids, Kenosha or Racine?
it's about 50-50 actually.
Is it?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Very close.
Yeah.
So
when you have the kids come in and they want to do activities, what type of facilities do you have that they can do any type of activity at all?
we do monthly things. We do 4 big activities a year. We do an Easter egg hunt. We do a fishing activity in the summer. In the fall, one of our big brothers who lives in Kenosha lets us go to his horse farm to carve pumpkins and ride horses. That one's my favorite, actually. And then we do a Christmas party every year.
Go figure.
And we do things monthly at our office in between there. Craft nights, game nights, movie nights, just things for people to do if they're looking for something in that particular month. So.
What about the kids themselves? What's the age group that can be involved in Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
They can be anywhere from 6 to 18. Most of our littles, we call them, are 6 to 14. Littles. And the mentors are bigs, but yeah, we do have children all the way up to 18 in the program.
Do you normally keep them for several years whenever they start a program like at age 6 and go beyond?
It really depends on the match. We do require a 1-year commitment from our mentors, but we have a lot of mentors who continue beyond that, well beyond that, and remain involved in the little's life for quite a while.
Mandy, what is one of the things that the mentors really should know when they first start working with your organization?
Honestly, I mean, it's such a great program, but you really get more out of it than the kids do, in my opinion. We try to make really good matches. I look at common interests. There's an ideal youth questionnaire for the volunteers to fill out to tell me what type of child they're looking for. And then the parents also fill out something similar for a volunteer. And I look at the things on those 2 lists and the common interests too. So I'm hoping to make long-lasting relationships. It'll tug at your heartstrings, really. So,
but it kind of gets overwhelming after a while, doesn't it? Because you're looking at 2 or 3 lists, things people want to do, but you might not be able to do it because you don't have enough people.
Yeah. We have a lot of kids on the waiting list, so there's kids to choose from. Boys especially, we have waiting, but I mean, there's options, and if a volunteer doesn't think one child sounds like a good fit, I could certainly find other kids who might be looking for a mentor too. So,
what type of support mechanisms are in place to help the mentors, and what do they do to become a mentor? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Well, if they're interested, the first step is an application. And it's a fairly lengthy application, obviously, because the safety of the children is top priority. So there's a background check as part of the application. There's an interview process. And once they are successfully enrolled, then Mandy matches them with a boy or girl, depending on gender. And they meet 3 to 5 hours a month for a year, again, a year commitment. And we offer training. There's training through the national office. We also have partnered with Gateway and Parkside to offer mentor training in each quarter. And then Mandy is certainly their primary source of support and information. She can certainly connect them with other community agencies if there's a need, if she can't answer their questions herself.
Now, when someone comes to you and says, I'd like to be a mentor, and they filled out the documentation, there's more to this than just that. I mean, they have to get fully trained to do this type of work, because they're going to be out there with those kids for a considerable amount of time, hopefully. So,
right.
what type of training do they go through?
Well, there's an online training that National offers that I'm able to open up once I do the interview. There's several different ones that they can go through depending on their experience level with children. Like Ashley said, we do trainings at Gateway through an organization who we partnered with. And then I do an orientation and explain the program and what they're going to be doing and all that too.
So when somebody walks in, they don't just get overwhelmed right away?
Right.
You wait a day or two and then overwhelm
Right,
them?
exactly.
Yeah, okay. Typical, okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds familiar. If a mentor decides that, you know, this has been great, they've been doing this for 5 or 6 months, can they say, I'd like to have another child too, to be a mentor for?
Typically, we pair, one-on-one, since that's our core focus.
Right.
So there are, we do, have some mentors who perhaps there's a sibling in the same family who is waiting for a mentor, and again, Mandy looks at all of those different aspects and situations to see what will work best. But the majority of our mentors are one-on-one.
Okay. After you've gone through the whole support mechanism, somebody has started now as a mentor and they've been at it for a while. Do they stay on? Do they continue on beyond that year that you'd hope they'd stay?
Yep. Usually our matches have so much fun together that they want to continue hanging out. Our average match length right now is about 25 months. Our longest current match is 10 years, so they were matched when he was 8 and he's about to turn 18 and will be graduating. And then their match will end in the program, but they have every intention to continue hanging out after that. So
They
really,
can actually become a mentor too?
yeah, yep.
Okay. But yeah, is there an age limit?
For the mentors, no. You can be, 16 is the minimum, but you could be all the way up to 85 if you really want to be a big.
You've got all the energy, yeah.
Be a big brother or sister at 85. They might have shrunk a little bit by then. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you do, some of the activities. Now, when I was at your facility, you've got a basketball court, and there's a small, it's almost like a little dining room area. What else can you do for the kids and the mentors whenever they come?
Well, we do monthly craft nights and game nights and movie nights just to give them extra things to do. A lot of times they don't hang out on the facility. They go to movies or go to dinner or do crafts together or go to sporting events, or really the sky is the limit and it's up to them and what they enjoy doing. So
it's kind of a hangout kind of itinerary.
Yes.
Whatever you like to do, let's go do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you can match up the interest. What happens when you can't find someone, a mentor, who does the same things?
Well, then the child waits until a good match comes up. I don't want to just put two people together who might not have anything in common, because we want the matches to last. So some kids wait longer than others just because of common interests not lining up. So,
Do you ever get that gold star coach and mentor and child together? Or
that,
does it
yep,
happen quite a bit?
that's what I aim for. So,
You aim for it, but can you always achieve it?
well, not always, but usually, more often than not, I'd say we make pretty good matches. So,
What's the biggest stumbling block to having someone come in and be a mentor? Is it the process of filling out the documentation, going through the training, or what could it be?
I think the time commitment tends to, make some people hesitate. And really, if they come to events on site that we offer once a month, and they go out for ice cream or something afterwards, that's, you've met your minimum requirements. So, or some people think, what do I have to offer? I'm not equipped to be a mentor, but, we say if you have room in your heart and time in your schedule, to contact us, and we can.
They never raise kids. That should be a prerequisite, I think. If you never raise kids, how do you know you wouldn't be a good mentor? Because a lot of the parents can be. And speaking of parents, what's the relationship between the parents and the mentors? How do they get along, and what do they do? Do they do things together too?
we don't encourage a lot of that, but if you're matched long enough, they're going to be like an extended part of the family, But, I mean, they communicate, they make plans together for their child to go with the big, and it's just sort of like a friendship, but not like an overly close relationship always.
What happens when you have a problem with either the coach or the mentor and the child? Or, and you had mentioned before, a lot of these kids are foster kids, or some of them. So what happens when you have a problem with maybe a foster parent saying, no, I don't want them to do that?
Well, that's why I'm there to help. So we'll talk through things, and I'll help people along the way with whatever they might need help with. So,
as long as you can.
Right.
If
and if not, then I try to find resources to be able to help them.
Do the volunteers kind of pass the word so that everybody gets to know, okay, this is what I'm doing, and you should try it too, and that kind of thing? Do you get very many volunteers that way?
Yeah, and we're trying to really encourage our bigs to talk to other people about what they do and how much they enjoy it. We've also started Bigs Night Out, which is just a
What's that?
way for bigs to come together either at another big's house or at our office in the evening to just have some appetizers and really to network and be another source of support. Here's what I'm doing, here are my successes, and learn from each other that way as well.
Do you find sometimes that people will come to an event like that and just kind of hang in the back? Or do you have to get them out there and just, come on, talk to me, and get them moving?
Well, the food usually helps get people to the table, so.
There has to be an ulterior motive, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. But when you have that group, and there's always going to be one or two people in a group like that who just, you know what, I'm going to hang back and watch and see what happens. And they may not do coaching and mentoring for a while. How do you get them involved? They've just passed all the training and all that. Now what do you do?
Most of the people who apply and go through the training get matched and
Right away?
get active.
Yep.
Yep. There are other people in the community who want to support the organization but just can't be a big. So then we have community volunteers who help us with events in the office. In-kind donations, so we try to engage people at their comfort level.
Okay. All right, and with that, we're going to have to take a pause for the cause, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're here with our folks from Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and Mandy, I want to talk to you a little bit about the volunteer pieces where you're doing the activities. You said that you do volunteer crafts night and game and sports nights and things like that. So when somebody does a crafts night, what does that entail? What do you actually do?
Well, I find different art projects for the matches to work on when they come to the office. A lot of times we do them around different holidays. So like we had a Valentine's Day one, all Valentine's related stuff. We've done them around like Easter and just different holidays, so I theme them around that. For like movie nights, we usually show a Disney movie or some sort of kid-friendly movie. We supply that. And then we do a lot of like game nights. We had a bunch of games donated to us, so
They're primarily board games
yeah,
and that kind
board
of thing?
games, yep. And then we'll be going to the Shed Aquarium over the summer. We got a grant for that, so we'll be taking a bus down there with a bunch of bigs and littles and go check out the fish. And then we just
Do you
try
have to worry about the kids kind of playing with the fish?
well, I hope not. We don't need anyone
The
going
Shed Aquarium,
swimming.
that's pretty big. So-
Yeah. Yep. We went last year, and there were about 50 people that went, so a nice size group. And we try to just do stuff for them, since they do so much for us and for the kids that they mentor. We try to support them in that way too. So.
What about the Milwaukee area? Do you have activities and things that you can do there?
Yep. There's a lot of museums and stuff, so we're working on trying to set up a trip there as well. So.
Mhm. What about Racine and Kenosha? I know the Historical Museum, the Civil War Museum, and all that stuff.
Yep.
They're
We
all
actually have a night coming up at the Public Museum, so
there. Oh,
yeah, little field trip there next month. So.
oh, okay, good. Some of the things that people get involved in, like when they go on these trips and things like that, does it spark other interests to get them to do other things? Or are you pretty much restricted as to how much money you can spend each year?
We do have a very tight budget. We're a small nonprofit, so that kind of goes with the territory. For example, the trip to the Shed Aquarium was funded by the Lego Foundation. It's not something we could typically have done on our own. So,
Especially for that many people,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's one of the most popular activities, so we were very grateful to get that funding again this year. But otherwise, we tend to, do whatever. If we're going to the shed, we stick around that area, and certainly you're right by the lake, so the kids can maybe see some things they've not seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited about the public museum evening as well. Again, one of the things we do besides work on goals is expose the littles to some cultural things they might not have ever been part of before. So that's another nice piece of the organization.
What happens when you take a big group like that? Do the two of you have to kind of ride herd, sort of like herding cats with a water hose to make sure they stay on track? Or do you just let the bigs, as you call them, just do their thing?
That's usually how it goes. I mean, we all sort of stay together as a group, but everybody has their own thing that they want to do. So as long as we are able to meet back up at a certain point, you can really just do what you want to do. So
I'll bet you that's a mess when you have to go to a restaurant somewhere. Seating for 50. How do you explain that one?
Yeah, typically the matches are doing things, on their own.
Yeah.
So the field trip is unique. Most of the time, it's like we say, it's a one-on-one. So it may just be a pair going to dinner or a movie or something like that. So a little bit easier logistically.
Logistically, whenever you take a big group like that, or even a small group, you still have to be able to have bus service and things like that.
Yep.
So is that all donated services as well?
Yep. The bus we factor into the budget unless we have a sponsor for that. But otherwise, the tickets and things are part of the grant.
When a lot of people are working with the kids, do you find that things just sort of get out of control and they're all in there in that big in the room at one time, for an activity, or is it just kind of fun and everybody does their thing?
It's pretty well organized. Mandy works hard, before everyone gets there to have all the supplies out, especially for craft night, to have all the supplies out and instructions and things. But beyond that, she doesn't hover. She lets the bigs and littles connect. I mean, that's why they're there, to spend time with each other and just have fun.
I bet you it gets loud during game night, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but it's fun. So
What's the
we have
favorite
a lot of
game?
fun. We have played Monopoly. We have had so many games donated. I honestly can't even tell you which was the favorite, but there was like a little duck game that one of the girls found and they were playing, and there's a lot of different ones to choose from. And Life we played last time, and so Clue was a good one too.
When the kids are all together and they're making a lot of noise and having a great time and enjoying themselves and kind of working on things, does that give you a time to just kind of sit back and evaluate what's happening with the mentors and with the kids themselves? Or do you have to kind of walk around and sit down and talk to them and things like that to get a good feel for what's happening?
Mandy usually, well, she does have communication with the bigs and littles on a consistent basis, so that's usually aside from the activity. So when we have activities on site, that really is a time just for the bigs and littles to be together. So Mandy's not walking around to each pair to talk about goals and things, but she will at another time.
Now, when somebody starts talking about the goals that everybody has to have, they're all pretty much alike, aren't they?
Yep, a lot of the goals are working on homework or self-esteem or getting along better with a sibling. So everybody has their own individual goal, but a lot of times they're very similar. So
how do you get somebody to do their homework? That's a good question.
Well, when they're working with their big, they're having fun, so they just sit down, and a lot of times they'll make it fun by going to dinner, or they go out for ice cream and sit there and work together. So it's not usually an issue, but...
Do you have a case where you have a lot of kids from the same schools, same neighborhoods?
Yep. We actually serve a lot of the Frank Elementary kids, and just there's so many schools, but we do have a lot that come from various schools that are the same, and a lot of times the kids know each other. They'll see them out with their bigs, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I know you." We had that happen at bowling, actually, this past weekend, but there were two girls who knew each other, and they didn't know they were going to be there, and it was kind of cute. So.
No inter-school rivalries between them?
Nope.
Sometimes that can get pretty bad when you get somebody from Bradford and Trimper together here in Kenosha, or Indian Trail now. That gets pretty rough. How do you get people to stay for the program? What's the key to staying power?
I think the relationships that are developed really just make people want to stay. Like I said, we try to support people, so if anything ever comes up or they have questions or concerns, I'm there to help, but a lot of times they enjoy it so much they just want to hang around and keep mentoring their little. So
1 or 2 years later, they're still at it.
Yep, exactly.
When do you say to yourself, okay, enough is enough? You guys have been doing this. I don't need to talk to you anymore. We don't need to review the goals or anything. How do you know when enough is enough?
I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of the child aging out. Other times they've completed whatever their goal was and they don't need a mentor anymore. But I really think more often than not it ends up turning into a lifelong friendship. So it's really what we aim for.
Where do you see this kind of a program, specifically this one, in 10 years? Or even 5 years from now? Well, both.
Well, I think we certainly want to continue what we're doing. We would love to expand and serve. Certainly we have 70 children on the waiting list, and we'd like to get that down to 0. That's on our minds every day when we come into the office. So that's our primary goal. And then once all of our children are matched with a mentor, we like to expand, serve more west of the eye, and just any child that wants a mentor, we would like to be able to say, great, we've got the perfect one for you.
Mm-hmm. What about 10 years from now? Do you see it continuing to grow?
I don't know if it would continue to grow year after year, but I think if we had a solid community-based mentoring program as well as a site-based mentoring program, filling the needs of the community, that would be what we would aim for.
When you see the kids, and this is probably one of those questions you get asked all the time, but when you see the kids in their natural environment, where they're at school, they're out on the playground, they're having fun, there's adults around all over the place. The kids always seem to have adults somewhere in their lives. Why have this kind of a program, though?
A lot of the children that we serve have a single parent home, or they've had a lot of adults who come and go who say they'll be there and they aren't, and they don't have that stable relationship, they don't have that foundation that's so critical to social success, academic success, you know, the workforce eventually. So these are children that need a positive adult role model who will be there and will support them and will guide them along with their parent or guardian. But someone, they just need that extra piece in their life.
Do the parents and guardians seem to support the program itself as a whole?
Absolutely.
Or is it kind of, well, here's my child, I'm sick of playing with him, now you play with him. You know?
No, that's not usually the case. Everybody has to be on board with this. The parents have to be okay with it. The child has to want a big. So if a child were to ever say, hey, I don't really want to do this, I can't match them. So everybody has to be on board.
Okay, so you have to have that one-for-one match.
Yeah.
If one of the children are on the waiting list, can they still come to the activities?
We actually have special activities only for children who are waiting for a mentor, and that kind of gives them still a connection to the agency, connection with other children, and something, you know, something to do to say we care, we haven't forgotten, and we're still trying to get you a match.
Yep.
Still here, still trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And once you make that connection, and Mandy, for you, that's got to be very rewarding. But once you make that connection and you see them succeed, does that kind of give you a little bit more impetus to do it with another one? All right, let's go find another mentor, and then another, and another.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually a big sister myself, so I don't just work there. I actually volunteer there too, and it is a really good program. And when you have successful matches, it makes you want to continue to make those successful matches. So, yeah, I'd say we definitely are all for the cause.
Okay. To kind of summarize and wrap things up, what we need to do is give them a way that they can contact you. So what is that?
Definitely start with our website, which is www.beabignow.org.
Okay.
They can also give us a call at 262-637-7625. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. So pretty much any way they're most comfortable finding out about us and contacting us, we'll be there.
What happens if somebody just wants to come over and sit down and talk to you, like I did? You know?
Yeah. We're there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, most every week. So.
And that address is?
It's 3131 Taylor Avenue, and we're in Building 4.
Okay, and that's all, for those who don't know, that's all the way down the driveway.
Yes, it's at the bottom of the
all
driveway,
the way to
yeah.
the end.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so that's it for another edition of Shaking Up Kenosha. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.